who is gonna survive and who's not gonna survive. And all this stuff, you guys
Ladies
see
and gentlemen,
money
Jay
in front of your
here.
eyes.
The city
Our
council
electric bill
meeting.
went way up, our water bills went up, and this is not funny because you guys want 3 or 4 more of these data centers in Dodge County, and people have suffered from the smoke from Canada and California, all across the United States, and people have asthma and allergies. They're the ones that's gonna suffer from this. You guys need to think about what you're doing. We elected you people. So, what I'm saying is you guys have to figure out what you did wrong. And we also need a meeting with you guys for the town hall. We've asked, and we've asked, and we asked, and we don't get it. We are citizens, and people live on fixed incomes in this town, and you guys are taking all the money away from the human people that elected you into office. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Angela Davis.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Angela Davis. Our family lives on Hemlock Road, across from the data center, behind Generac, and next to the refrigeration warehouse. I'm here to talk tonight about a practical zoning update that can help Beaver Dam grow responsibly while protecting the quality of life to your residential neighbors. The adoption of buffer zone standards between residential and commercial or industrial areas. Right now, when a business or industrial use is located next to homes, the zoning code for Beaver Dam relies mostly on quiet hours and complaint-based enforcement. What it does not provide is a physical separation. Things like landscape buffers, berms, or lighting controls that prevent problems before they start. Many residents living near commercial or industrial areas experience ongoing issues, such as we are right now, with noise, bright lighting, especially from the back of Generac, at night, and visual intrusion. These aren't just inconveniences, they affect sleep, property enjoyment, property value, and long-term neighborhood stability. On December 15th of 2025, I emailed all the council members and the mayor a request for noise mitigation using berms and landscaping. The proposed buffer zone amendment addresses this gap in a reasonable and balanced way. Under this proposal, commercial uses next to homes would include a landscaped buffer, and industrial uses would require a wider buffer, recognizing their greater impact. These buffer zones could include trees, shrubs, earthen berms, or fencing, depending on the site. They would also require shielded lighting directed away from homes and thoughtful placement of loading docks and mechanical equipment. The proposal does not stop development. It does not force existing businesses to rebuild, and it allows flexibility. Developers can propose alternative designs if they provide equal or better protection. It does create a clear, predictable expectation for everyone. So I respectfully ask the council to support incorporating buffer zone standards into your zoning code, and continue to hear more by open town hall meetings and proactively protect neighborhoods to reduce future conflicts. Thank you.
Next up is Millie Kuczynski.
Good evening. I'm Miley Kaczynski. I live downstream from the current data center development. The community has made it clear we do not want Beaver Dam to become a hub of multiple data centers. Yet additional projects are being considered even before the first one is operational. 2 minutes at a podium is not public input. There's been one evening where the mayor responded to questions. Other than that, there has been no community-wide open forum, no town hall, no meaningful opportunities for residents to ask detailed questions and receive transparent answers. Most people don't realize that data centers are not a temporary project. They lock in permanent industrial infrastructure, utility commitments, and land use patterns that outlast corporate strategy and economic cycles. Once those commitments are made, they're very difficult to reverse. And this is how rural communities are transformed without even being asked if that transformation is acceptable. Homes are not built near these facilities. Families move farther out and away. New parcels open up, and then the next project arrives in to fill those spaces. And like the second data center now being proposed in Beaver Dam. Considering 2 or 3 more before evaluating the full impact of the first signals that expansion is the goal and not careful oversight. Residents are paying attention, we are documenting impacts, we are asking questions, and we're not done. This council believes in transparency and responsible governance. Pause additional approvals, engage the public openly before irreversible decisions are made. Once the city commits to becoming a data center hub, it will be difficult to change that course, and that decision deserves far more public scrutiny than it has received. I formally request a town hall meeting. Denying your community members such an opportunity would display a complete lack of finding value in your community members. Schedule the town hall. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Francis Jennings.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. I was at a council meeting weeks ago because my job schedule does not permit me to get here. I really don't have any other thing to say other than what I said the first time around, which was questions about, you know, the schedule of what's going to happen. Is there any protection that we can really rely on for those people who live like I do, just off of Hemlock on Jason Drive in Trenton Township? I ask you to consider carefully the impacts that will happen in this community and the distress it will cause on the citizens here. I have heard rumors of all kinds. All I know is that the building is still going up, that the construction is underway, that the streets are intermittently blocked, and as I said before, I have lived here for 37 years, and the house sits 1 mile from where the construction is. I ask you to reconsider and to be more transparent, and if someone could give me a clue as to where I could get information on the progress of what's going on, either here in the city making determinations about the coming of the data center itself, and just find a way to get more information so that I can be better informed. I thank you for your time.
Okay, next up is, oh, I am sorry, I cannot, is it Steve? Is it Steve? Oh, okay. You shortened your signature, sir.
Did I? Well, it's always easier to spend other people's money than your own. There's some people on this council that have been bragging about how Meta is paying for some of our local and sponsoring some of our local events. That's awesome. Whose money are they really using? These companies can pay for their infrastructure, but it's us in the end, the consumers, that are paying for it. These energy costs are all coming back on us one way or the other. This proposal for a second data center, I am against, and I think should never happen. This data center the first data center had no out. There's no out in it for us. It was poorly negotiated. It was very poorly negotiated, and we were kept in the dark. And I know some of you regret it now that you did allow this to come into our community, but adding it into TID 7 hides that tax money from the school district. It hides it if you put it into TID 10. We don't see any of that tax money back into the general fund until 2046. Meta says, we'll pay for the infrastructure as long as you reimburse us for it with these tax credits. So in the end, we're paying for it. There's no out in the proposal that you guys put together that I've seen. Now I know Trent, he got a new pair of, I won't say, but you know, it's the people that are profiting from these things love it. the people like me that have to live next to it, because I know that I live closer to it than any of you. The people with it in their backyards, we hate it. We hate seeing this done to our community. Appoden, they're salivating over this. They love this. $31,000 an acre. I bet they'd give us another $5,000 an acre to get it. They're a real estate developer. Shoot, that's cheap to them. So no, and I second Maylee's proposal to have a town hall. Thank you.
Next up is Shanna Katz.
Hi, my name is Shannon Kotze. Feel like I was just here not long ago, because I was, as we were talking about the proposal of the first data center that we didn't have a say in. I live on County Road W. I'm 2 miles from the first one. I'm 1 mile from the second one, and it's getting closer and more uncomfortable as it grows closer. I have a salon built off of my house, and my husband has an electrical business, and he knows how power works and the reality that our energy bills are already going up, and more of that will increase as the data center continues to move closer and operate. Since we had no say in the first data center going up, at the very least, we're hoping there could be some sort of compensation for the energy bills or something to help people who live as close as we do. As a salon owner doing hair all week, I'm concerned about the blackouts that could happen. So we're looking into a generator, another additional cost that will be arising. Our driveway got beat up pretty good and torn apart, as did all of our neighbors the last several months, which made it issues for clients to be able to come to get their hair done, and which has caused issues for our neighbors who just blacktopped, and constantly there are machines in our yard, in our neighbor's yard, makes it difficult to go around and even use our driveway. We had large, beautiful trees taken down that we didn't have any choices about. But most concerning to me, however, is the frequencies that are not just going to be coming from one data center, but possibly 2, and what they are emitting into our bodies and our children's bodies, and the irreversible effects to our health that comes with that. We live way too close to this for comfort. So I think we need to raise a unified voice and stand up for our city, because it's clear no one is going to do that for us. As this continues, we and other good people of the community aren't going to stick around, and then what will be left of the community itself? Thank you.
Next up is Mark Brzezinski.
Hello, Mark Brzezinski. I spoke a couple weeks ago. I emailed every one of you on the 13th my thoughts about the data center and the new one being proposed and some other findings. I'm here to put my face to that email so that each and every one of you knows who I am. And I'm formally asking for a town hall. I'm thirding that request for a town hall meeting, because I don't pretend to know everything each and every one of you know. And I know each and every one of you don't know what I know. So I request that we sit down, talk about this, educate all of us. Everyone needs an education on this, because not one of us is an expert at what we're dealing with right now. Not one of you live close to it. You're all in the city. My house is right there. It's encroaching. You annex 600 acres into the city of Beaver Dam. What's next? I ask that we sit down. Knowledge is power. Educate ourselves. Let's figure it out. If I'm wrong, if you're wrong, we can agree to disagree. That's democracy at work. But we need to sit down together as a community, because it's just not city residents. It's the rural residents that make this community, that make Beaver Dam strong. I've lived here my entire life, 52 years, my grandparents, from the 1800s. This community has raised myself, my children. And I don't want to leave this community, but those thoughts are in my head now. Let's make an educated decision based on real facts, not non-disclosure agreements that no one knows about, because that's just wrong. Not one of you guys would take a real estate agreement if you didn't know what was going on, but we did it here. Let's not do it a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth time. So please, I would like to meet with you guys in the town hall meeting. Let's get some answers. Let's educate all of ourselves. Let's become better than our past. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Sarah, is it Zarling?
Hello, my name is Sarah Zarling and I'm your friendly, feisty neighbor from Watertown. I have been here supporting the residents of Beaver Dam and the town of Trenton since September. And I just have to say again, you know, I always shoot straight and respectfully. And so I have to say, I've also been on the ground in Fort Washington, and at this point, if there's a data center proposal or project in the state of Wisconsin, I'm either directly or indirectly involved. So I've really been talking to residents on a very extensive basis, and what I'm learning is for the people who live closest to the construction, this, approving a project like this is the most cruel thing you can do to them. My heart absolutely goes out to them, how their lives have been upended. And I wonder if part of why you were able to kind of be so loosey-goosey about approving this project is because it's not in the city of Beaver Dam and you aren't the ones who have to deal with the fallout. And so I just really feel very sorry for the people who are in the town of Trenton and are the most exposed to this, and they're being the most ignored. And I just really feel like that's wrong. I'm also concerned with the language that I heard being used at the last Common Council meeting when the second project was being discussed. The words that were being used were like when and not if, which makes it sound like it's already a done deal. And so, you know, I just, in the spirit of making sure that we're being transparent, since that didn't happen the first time around, as much as some of you may want to argue that you were transparent, you've continued to have your residents come up in droves and say no, and community members have raised their hands by the dozens in our community meetings and said they didn't know about it. So we can agree to disagree. I also support the requests for a town hall. You owe them that. Thank you.
Next up is Rob Kozinski.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. A while back, you had a meeting that you did over at the library, and I think we got a lot out of it, and I just want to say thank you. We really appreciate it. You even stayed longer than the meeting went. And what I'd like to basically request is, can we have another meeting where the members of the council, you yourself and anyone else that's involved, would be willing to answer questions that the public has to ask. You guys take a lot of notes and you try hard to get back to us, but it'd be really nice to have a meeting where we actually get the answers on the spot and we can ask follow-up questions to those answers. Before we consider another data center, I think it's really important that we bring this out into the public and not make the same mistake that we made at this data center where there wasn't enough public input. And I formally ask you tonight to please schedule that town hall meeting. Thank you.
Next up is Gabrielle Rees.
Hello, my name is Gabriel. I live here in Beaver Dam. You all know this at this point. Today I want to address something that Mr. Trent Campbell said at the end of the previous meeting. He said that he has gotten most of his information regarding the data center directly from Meta, and that he would be happy to tell us everything that they have told him. If I'm being perfectly honest, I have no interest in hearing the official word from Meta, because they've done nothing to earn my trust or the trust of anyone else in this town. Meta has a long history of being shady and untrustworthy, from poor treatment of its staff, specifically its moderation team, who have high expectations forced onto them, and if they fail even just 2% below those expectations, they are met with immediate termination. Those same moderators, mind you, are exposed to hours upon hours of violent and disturbing imagery, ranging from animal abuse to footage of people committing suicide, and even CSAM, look up at your own risk. They've also been directly linked to the amplification of hate speech and Islamophobic propaganda that resulted in the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar and the Tigray genocide in Ethiopia. The list continues from there. From its origins as a misogynistic tool to rate the attractiveness of the women Mark Zuckerberg went to college with, to allowing white supremacist groups to rise and thrive with little to no scrutiny, to even allowing the spread of misinformation regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, which personally affected my own family. These are the people you let come into our home and build a monstrosity in our backyard. I respect the people behind me, but I won't give you the benefit of the doubt like these people will. I also want that town hall meeting. The people deserve their chance to be heard. God bless you all, and God bless Beaver Dam.